Hey everyone, Dumont Owen here. It is what time? It's 9 o'clock on a Friday morning, and I'm here to answer any of your questions on personal branding or LinkedIn. Now, just a little bit of housekeeping here. If you have not been on one of my broadcasts before, I broadcast on StreamYard, and I cannot see your name. Facebook will not allow me to see your name when you make a comment or ask a question. So if this is your first time, just go above here and click to let StreamYard post your name, or let Facebook post your name with StreamYard, and that way I can see who's asking the question or making the comment. Now, if you want to stay anonymous, that's fine. I like anonymous people. I will answer your questions. So that's just a little bit of housekeeping here. And for those of you who don't know me and are thinking, well, who are you to ask questions about LinkedIn? A little bit of an introduction. I'm a certified master personal branding and digital branding strategist. There aren't very many of us around, and I specialize in LinkedIn training and coaching for entrepreneurs. Most of my clients are coaches or consultants or other professional service providers like marketers or virtual assistants, anybody who does B2B. That's where most of my clients fall, and usually with companies that are 15 or less. So that's kind of my sweet spot. Now, I am also a certified executive leadership coach and career coach. And I'm a retired, or I think of it as recovering academic, having spent a lot of years in higher education, and then transitioning to entrepreneurship. And if anybody wants to know how difficult that was, give me a call sometime and I'll tell you, because it was a whole different mindset. So I had to learn. And that's why I like doing these LinkedIn Q&As and personal branding Q&As, because I can save you a lot of time. I've made the mistakes for you, so you can learn from where I've gone wrong. So we've had a couple of questions this week. One is, where do I start on LinkedIn? And that's a really good question. And then the other one was about how to schedule events on LinkedIn. So I'm going to be talking about both of those today. And in order to help you, I'm going to share my screen. Now, when I share my screen, I will not necessarily be able to see your comments. In fact, I'm going to, hold on a second. I'm going to add my Facebook group right here, or my Facebook page right here, so that hopefully I can see your comments. Now, if you're not familiar with StreamYard, it can be, and I'm not seeing, here we go. It can be a little difficult just in terms of there's a lag between when you ask something and when I see it. So just be aware of that as we're going through. Okay, I am going to share my screen. And I want to start off okay. All right, that should be working now. Let me pull this up for you. Okay. Oh, that didn't work. Oh, that was not good. Okay, can I get out of this? That was not a good thing to happen. Okay, I am trying just to share my PowerPoint here with you. Huh. This may or may not be showing up for you. I'm not sure. Okay, it says it's sharing my screen, so, I'm going to believe them and think that it's sharing my screen. Maybe not, but Anyway, hopefully you can see this. If not, check back and I will do it for you. Okay, there are 4 stages to generating leads on LinkedIn. So when we talk about where to start, I want to show you these 4 stages, and bear in mind that you may not be working on them in the same order that I'm showing you, but this will give you an idea of how to get started. So in the first stage, and this is the one that most people fail to do, and it's the one that's going to cost you viewers and followers and connections. Know your strategy. And your strategy is based on your business goals, your niche, and your brand. So you need to get really crystal clear on those things before you ever start on LinkedIn, because that's going to create your strategy. Your strategy, if your clientele is local, is going to be different than someone who operates on a national basis, right? So you really have to get clear on those things. The second stage is awareness. Now, this is where most people start. And once you're really clear on your brand and really clear on your niche, this becomes much more focused. So the first piece in this is your profile. And the reason we start with your profile is that no matter what strategy you're using for growing your network or generating followers, people are going to check you out on your profile. Okay, so so that's one thing that you really want to start with. Still in this section, you're also going to work on your content marketing. It's important to get really clear on what your content messaging is, and then to put it on to get it on your profile. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that today. In the next section, this is your relationship building stage. And here you've already got the great profile. So you're going to start prospecting. You're going to find your ideal clients on LinkedIn. You're going to connect with them with invitations that are very personal and that will get a response and start off a relationship. And you're also going to nurture those leads through a series of messages that you create. And we do a lot with messaging here, and I'll talk to you more about it later, but know that on July 12th, we are starting another challenge. The challenge is back. So I'm challenging you to find, connect, and engage with 100 of your ideal clients on LinkedIn. So keep focused, because that's coming up real soon. And then the final stage is the sales stage. This is where you have that sales conversation and where you really do your analysis, because in the first stage with the goals, you're going to document which metrics you're looking at to see whether you're progressing towards your goals. Okay, I wanted to cover that real quickly, because that is where normally you would start. Okay, so, okay, wait, I still want to share my screen. So the second, actually, I've had 2 questions about LinkedIn itself this week. So I'm going to answer both of them, and you can just follow along. If you don't need it, then that's fine. I did do a how to build a profile that sells while you sleep video on Wednesday, and I will be sharing that in the newsletter that goes out today. So if you're here and you're not getting my newsletter, pay attention, because I'm going to show you how to get the newsletter and also how to get my brand new LinkedIn profile checklist and step-by-step guide and templates and video lessons all about how to create a LinkedIn profile. A really super cool LinkedIn profile that attracts your ideal clients, engages them, and tells and compels them to take the next step in knowing you. So what I want to do now is go into LinkedIn. Okay, here we are in LinkedIn. How magic is that? Okay, so whoops. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to show you 2 things on LinkedIn. One of the questions I had was how to use events. And events on LinkedIn are such a powerful tool for promoting yourself, getting engagement, getting followers and connections. So I'm going to take you through this. Now I'm on my home page here. And as I scroll down, I'm going to scroll down past, and you can tell how nearsighted I am here. I'm going to scroll down past recents. I'm going to go past groups, and I'm going to go to events. So if I want to add an event, I click that plus sign. Let me show that to you again. I just click the plus sign here, and it brings up the event screen. Pretty cool. So you can upload your picture, and take note here that that picture is long, and it's a rectangle. It's a long rectangle. So when you're picking photos, be aware that only part of that photo is going to show. So you want to adjust it so that it's showing what you want it to show. You also have a place to add your logo for your company page. And one of the things that we talked about in the LinkedIn profile webinar this week was how important it is to have a company page. So you want a logo on your LinkedIn profile by your company, and you want that logo and your company name to send people to your company page. Because on your company page, you can engage a whole lot of followers. On your company page, you can invite 100 people to follow you every month. And if you invite them and they accept your invitation, you get credited back for that one. So check back on it later in the month to see if you've got more options. Okay, so I can add my logo there. I can post all the details. This event is going, I could say with the challenge, this is a super great event that's going to change your life on LinkedIn. I'm going to show you how to find, connect, and engage with 100 high quality leads and turn them into clients. And I'm going to do it in 5 days. Okay, that's pretty good. So I could go with that. Now, the next thing I want to fix is my time and my time zone. Make sure that's correct. And then put in my description. So all of that is there. I can highlight who the speakers are and connect to them. I can make it a public or private event. You want it to be a public event unless it really is limited to certain people in your group, or to your group or something like that. Now, if this is a free event, I'm going to tell you to click use a LinkedIn registration, and here's why. You're going to have an opportunity, first of all, to tag and use hashtags in your description. When you post this to a LinkedIn registration, LinkedIn will promote that webinar or that event on those various topics. And also, when someone signs up on LinkedIn, that means that when they sign up on LinkedIn, you can download all the attendees, and you can also message them right away. And one of the real advantages of posting on LinkedIn is that once it's posted, you can invite up to 1,000 of your first degree connections. I mean, this is big. This is really big. It's going to invite them to your event. And how cool is that? The other thing, and this can be a good thing or a bad thing, depending on how much attention you pay, anyone who signs up for this workshop can also invite people. So you may want to think about that, in fact, in terms of how you want to interact with those people and how you want to reach them. Because if they sign up on LinkedIn, you can message them all at the same time. So after the workshop or webinar event, if you have a recording or resources that you want to follow up on, you just click on those attendees. It's going to give them all. You can send them the message at one time. Pretty cool stuff. Okay, and also you can also add a broadcast link. Now this is important. This is where it's going to be broadcast. So you're going to have your Zoom link or your StreamYard link or your webpage link, wherever it's going to be showing. And then finally, you're going to agree to LinkedIn's terms and conditions. You're going to put, if it's a live event, you're going to put where it is. and you're going to put the broadcast link that they can register through. And you want to do that if it's a paid event. So you want to send them to whatever link you're ticketing on, whether it's Eventbrite or a Meetup or, your web page that has a link to your PayPal or Stripe page. You want to put that. So the first one is whoops, I clicked on location. But the first one is settings. The next thing you want to do is click, if this is an online event, which most of mine are, you want to click there. So then you're going to add the registration link, which will take them to your ticketing site. And also you're going to click that as an online event. And you can also add in the settings. You can put in that it's a registration link too. So there are a lot of great things that can happen from doing this. Be sure you have your dates right. And remember one thing. Once you post an event on LinkedIn, you can't edit it. So take your time, check it over, make sure you're doing this right. And you know what? LinkedIn is a big old learning event. So, fool around with this. But this is a great way to get your name out there and to get followers, because when people see these really cool events being publicized, they're going to start following you. So that's a great way to use events. If you have any follow-up questions about events, please let me know, because I will be more than happy to answer them next Friday. So that's events. Now, another question that I have gotten this week, and it's a really good question, is about follower mode, or the new creator mode on LinkedIn. It's one of the new features on LinkedIn, along with the ability to do video on your profile, which is kind of a cool thing, depending on how well you like video. But you will be able to put a cover video, a 30-second cover video on your profile that will be in that circle with your beautiful face shining. And right now, they will only hear you if they click on it, but LinkedIn is also going to be adding captions. Now, this is a great opportunity. You know how strongly I feel about creating and getting really clear on your brand. And one requirement of your brand is that it's authentic. So this is a chance to authentically connect with your ideal clients when they land on your page. So that's a really great tool. But that's not what we're talking about today. LinkedIn, well, actually will a little bit, but LinkedIn has created a new option on your profile. So I want to take you through this. All right, I'm going to go to my profile. And I'm going to show you how this works. Okay. Right now, when you look at this, this is my profile. I'm looking at it from my end, not from what someone else would see. But if you look up here on my profile, if you are not in the creator mode, if your profile is the way we've always done profiles on LinkedIn, it's going to show your 500 plus connections. It is not going to show how many followers you have. That's this number. So why would you want to do this? Well, it really depends on what your goals are and where you are. If you are really doing a lot in developing connections and you want people to be able to follow and connect with you, you're going to want to stay with the standard way, where it just shows those 500 connections, because it has that connect button there and they can connect with you right from your profile. However, if you've been on LinkedIn for a while and you have, say, 6,000 connections, no one can tell that from looking at your profile. All they know is that you have 500 plus connections. Maybe you have 501. Maybe you have 10,000. They can't tell. So, it's great for your first degree connections, because they know you have them and they know they can scroll through it. But it doesn't tell your followers anything. And one of the questions that I got this week was, What's the difference between a connection and a follower? Well, that's a good question. Connections are always followers, but followers are not always connections. Here's the difference. A connection is when someone, you or the other person, has issued an invitation and the other person has accepted it. That's what we call a first-degree connection. You can also have second-degree connections. Those are the connections of your first-degree connections. And your first degree, this is really valuable information because your first degree connections can introduce you, they can share your content with them. So that's really important. So connections are going to see when you publish new content. Connections are going to see your events when they're publicized. And connections can message you. You can talk to your connections back and forth. You can't do that with followers. Followers are people who have seen something that you posted and they have clicked to follow you. So they will see everything you post or a lot of what you post, depending on how LinkedIn is promoting it. But they cannot message you back and forth. You are not directly connected. So if you're focusing on just connecting and you really are trying to build up your connections, you might want to stay in the standard mode. If you already have connections, then you might want to change it to the follower mode. And I'm going to show you how to change back and forth between these. And here's the strategy part. Think about how many connections you really want and what works best for you. There are a lot of people out there, and I used to be one of them, who would advise you to connect with 50 people a day. Send out 50 invitations a day or, 300 a week. I mean, we really used to advise that. But that was before automation and spam. LinkedIn has become very sensitive to automation and spam. So that's a reason to be very careful when you do this. And I would advise you not to send out more than 10 to 25 invitations a day, because the idea on LinkedIn is to build relationships with those connections. So when they accept your invitation, you want to do the next thing that's going to build that relationship. And in case you haven't been following me, here's the deal on that. Do not send out invitations that you're not going to follow up on. Do not send out invitations to people who are not in your niche that you're trying to reach, because you're going to grow your connections, but they're not necessarily connections who are going to buy any of your programs or services. So think about that. Take advantage of LinkedIn's ability to really, really drill down and find your ideal clients and only connect with them. Because that way you can start nurturing that relationship. Remember, I said you want to invite them to connect, and then you want to start into a nurturing sequence that's going to build that relationship. Okay, and you can't do that with 300 new people a week. You just can't do it. So that's my advice. All right. So when you check follower, you're going to, when you want to change or try out the follower mode, look on your blue dashboard. This is seen only by you. It's in your profile. And that's where you can see who's viewed your profile, how many people viewed your post, and also how many times you've appeared in a search. However, if you want to change this and see how it could be different, this is where you're going to change it. I have creator mode on, and I'm going to change it in a minute and show you the difference. But in creator mode, here's what people see when they come to your website. They are going to see that you have this many followers. And I'll be honest, I have focused on growing my network through connections. So I'm kind of starting out with this too and learning it, but it makes a lot of sense because when people see that you have 10,000 followers, they go, oh, there must be a reason all these people are following him or her. So the difference they're going to see when they land on your webpage, your profile, is number one, they're going to see both followers and connections. But the second difference is that your featured section, this is where you feature your best content, and your activity show up before your about section. And if you're not familiar with the about section, it's what they used to call the summary section. Now they decided to make it about. So that's the big difference, is when you have followers, that's how they're going to see it. When you have the creator mode on, it's going to show your featured content and your activities. If you have events that you're promoting or something, that could be really helpful. Here I have coming to the lucrative LinkedIn lead generator this week. This is something that I promoted. And if people click on it, they're going to see that I promoted this, that I had this feature about my Wednesday matinees. So that's how they show up if you're doing creator mode. Now, if I come down here and I turn creator mode off, I'm going to reload so that you can see this difference. When I turn creator mode off, you're only going to see that I have 500 plus connections. You are not going to see my followers unless you scroll down. So the first thing they're going to see is your title, and then they can see your connections. And then when they scroll down, the next thing they're going to see is your about section, your summary that describes who you are, who you help. It really makes your personal brand clear. And it talks about your ideal clients. It talks directly to them. So on mine, I'm talking to solopreneurs and other professional service providers, coaches, consultants, and other professional service providers. So I talk about their problems. My clients have these 3 problems, and then how I solve them, and what the results are. This is what you want to do. Now, you also, in your about section, there's one more very, very important thing. You want to have a call to action. What do I mean by a call to action? A call to action tells your viewers what to do next in order to develop a relationship with you. And it only says it once. It only gives one call to action, and it's really, really effective. So if the next thing you want them to do is subscribe to your newsletter, or you want them to schedule a free consultation, or you want them to download a free gift, you're only going to put that one. You're not going to put 2 calls to action. And here's why. Research shows that a call to action telling people what to do next works. They do that. But it also shows that if you put if you put more than 1 call to action, they won't choose either. So that's why you only want to have 1. So in this version, when your creator mode isn't off, they're going to see your about section first, and then when they scroll down, they will see your featured section and your activities section. Okay, so I'm going to scroll back down, and I'm going to turn creator mode back on. Let's see. Where is it? Hold on. I must have clicked the wrong thing. Here. It's going to, where do I do it next? Tell us what you post about. Okay, save. Okay, and this should, yes, now you can see it shows my followers. Now, another question that I got this week was how to get followers. If you want to use this, what are some ways that you can build up your followers on LinkedIn? So I put together a few tips that I think might help you there. One is to don't post constantly. We used to tell people to post 2 or 3 times a day. Some people said 5 times a day. Well, yeah, you might have more people see it when it's first posted. But here's the thing. If they saw it the first time, it gets a little annoying to see it 4 more times. And when you post that often, you really are probably not focusing on the quality of your content. And the way LinkedIn operates right now, it's quality over quantity, always, because there is so much garbage out there, and people are so used to being spammed with irrelevant information that the more you can post quality information, the better your following is going to be. So once a week, post, and no more than 3 times a week. Okay, so I post 3 times a week, but I post my events and I post, those kinds of things. But I only post 1 video lesson a week because I want to make sure that I have 1 high quality post. So that would be my first piece of advice. Second, beware of automation. It's great to use Buffer or Hootsuite or any of the other schedulers that are out there. They can save a lot of time, but don't over rely on them because it will cost you. When you post content, when you post content, an article or a video or an image, the way that LinkedIn's algorithms work, when you post that content, the first hour after you post that content is the most crucial, because the way LinkedIn's algorithms work, a bot's going to come by and evaluate your content. And the thing that it's looking for is whether you're getting engagement, okay? Whether people are interacting with it, whether they like it, whether they comment on it. So that's the most crucial time. So schedule your content when you can spend that first hour responding to remarks and questions that people ask in comments, because and shares. That's really important. And then check back a few times during the day. LinkedIn will notify you when you have new comments, so keep an eye on that. So that's the first thing I really want you to do. And then on your posts, you can get more followers and get more engagement if you go back in and you tag a few people, with the @ sign, and ask them a question. If you say, so-and-so, I know that you really are interested in this topic. What would you say? What did I miss? So you want to create engagement with your content. Okay. Google loves images, and the only thing that Google loves more is moving images. So post images and post videos and post presentations if you want. What you don't want to do is post things that are trite or overused or, just taking up space. And by that, I mean, posts that cite, posts for quotes can be very inspirational, but don't do a lot of those. They're overdone, and it just isn't going to get you very far. Instead, maybe post a tip. I post tips on LinkedIn, and I post them once a week. A tip can get a lot further than a quote. These people are used to seeing those. Or put a suggestion in there. Also, when you're doing your posting, remember those videos. And if you're uncomfortable with video, try Loom. Loom is a free videos or a site where you can do and practice your videos. So Loom, Loom, is a place where you can actually practice your videos and upload them or have them uploaded, and then you can review them and see where you could get better. And there is so much stuff out there about how to do video. Just Google it. But what I want you to remember is it's no longer the norm. It's no longer expected that every video you produce looks like it was done in a studio. Authenticity is so important. So don't be hesitant to post videos because you don't have the right backdrop. you know, this is my office. This is in my house. You know, that's my bookcase. So it doesn't have to be that way. Make it authentic. That's the important part. Okay, another thing that will get you more followers is to share other people's content. And this is really important because this really, really casts you as an expert. When you share other people's content, you are doing yourself a favor. You're also doing them a great favor because you are getting them more views. You are sharing it. Now, a general rule of thumb is to share 4 pieces of content a week. So 4 of your posts a week are going to be posts that, or not 4 posts a week, 4 posts that are sharing someone else's content, 1 that's sharing your own original content, and 1 that's self-promotion. So for every 6 posts, you're going to be sharing content for 3 of those, or for 4 of those. You're sharing original content 1 time, and then you can share a promo. And this really casts you as an expert who's always up on it. If you're sharing great articles and finds that are going to help your ideal clients, then they're going to see you as the person who's really connected and really in the know. So remember, 4 times you share other people's comments or content, 1 time you share your own, and then you promote. Okay. Let's see. You can live stream on LinkedIn. Now, LinkedIn has been slowing down on the people they're letting live stream. It really focuses on the amount of engagement you're getting for your posts. So another reason to really keep promoting that engagement. Tag influencers and other people, but only when it's relevant. You know, go in and tag somebody who is in the same space, but is an influencer, but only tag them if it's relevant to what they're doing. You know, there are a lot of great influencers out there, but it gets a little irritating if people are tagging them and it really has nothing to do with them. You know, wouldn't you get irritated with that? So think about, you know, why you're tagging them. You know, if you have clients or colleagues who are really involved with a certain topic, then those are the people to tag and ask them a question, ask them to weigh in. So use tags, but be discreet and make sure it's relevant. Okay, and use hashtags. That's another way to increase followers. What I recommend is that you have 3 to 5 hashtags and use the same hashtags every single time, because then people are going to see you when they start following that topic. You're always going to come up. So with mine, I can put personal branding, hashtag personal branding, hashtag LinkedIn, hashtag lead generation, hashtag personal branding, and then hashtag Dumont Owen or hashtag Dumont and Associates. So keep those hashtags to only 3 to 5 and always use the same ones. Another way is to look at your analytics and see what topics are really landing. And to see your analytics, you are going to go to your homepage. You can click on the Me icon and scroll down to Posts, Managing Posts and Activities. This is going to bring them all up. And then I can just look at posts. And I can go down here and look at all of these and look at, okay, let's look at this one. So on this one, I can see, and you can see how nearsighted I am because I'm leaning over here to do this, but you can see right here, it says 70 views of your post. Okay, if I click on that, yeah, I can see my analytics. So, whoops, no, that didn't do it. Let's go down to the next one. I may have just done that one a little while ago. Okay, let's look at this one. Okay, this pulls up. I'm going to show you what I did. I pulled up some posts, and I looked at, this says 133 views. Can you see this at the very bottom? When you click on that, that is going to show you your analytics, and that means you can see who searched for you, you know, the kinds of people they were. So 9 people who viewed it were career counselors. There were 4 that were business owners. There were 4 that were executive directors. And then this will tell me where they lived, you know, where they were from. So this tells me a lot about which posts are landing. You know, if I see all kinds of people there, but they are not people that are in my niche, they're not people I'm trying to reach, then that information is not going to be all that helpful. So use analytics to really understand what's working and what's not. So I'm going to close out of LinkedIn. I'm going to go back into StreamYard. I am going to stop sharing my screen, and I'm going to check over here for comments. No, I was so good at explaining things today that you guys don't have any more questions or comments. I'm going to consider this a win for all of us. I am going to put the links to this in my newsletter that I will post in the LinkedIn, in the Lucrative LinkedIn Lead Generator Facebook group, and I will also be sending it out in the newsletters. So remember, if you can't be present, then what I want you to do is send your questions, and I just close this out, and I'm going to pull it back up because I want you to see where you can reach me. So hold on a second. I'm going to share my screen again for just a sec. Oop. Share. Come on, share. Share screen. Okay, share screen. Okay. These are the important links that you want to know if you're going to reach me. So take a screenshot of this. You know, I don't mind at all. If you want to send me an email, dumont@dumontowen.com is the best way to reach me. If you have a question for the Friday morning show, this show, send it to askdumont@gmail.com, and I will put it on the show. I will answer it on the show. I'll also send you the link to the recording. You can invite me to connect on LinkedIn. You can go to my webpage at dumontowen.com, which, by the way, was built for me last year, and it keeps on crashing. So if you don't see it, that's why. We're in the middle of doing a new one. And if you would like to schedule a free strategy session with me, this is my appointment calendar. And it's a half-hour session in which I will go through and help you evaluate your profile, and we'll talk about some of the best strategies for meeting your goals. So that's it for today. I'm going to go back over here just one more time. Stop sharing. Oh, thank you, Susan. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate that. I really, really do. So thank you, Susan. You just made my day. So listen, have a great weekend, everybody. And tune in next week. I will be back here on Friday with the Friday show. And don't forget about the challenge starting July 12th. It's free. It's in the Lucrative LinkedIn Lead Generator Facebook group. So be sure to apply there so we can migrate you in. And you are going to learn how to issue an invitation that will really get responses. So how to find, connect, engage, and convert 100 of your high quality leads in just 5 days. So watch for that. I'm going to be sending out the information. So thanks, Susan. Y'all, this is Dumont Owen saying ta-ta for now.